I pause here, in this moment that belongs to neither the morning that has passed nor the afternoon still waiting. The morning has left its weight on me. I can feel it in my shoulders, in the way my thoughts seem to stumble over each other, in how the light from the window feels almost too bright after hours of pushing through. There were moments I didn't expect, words that landed harder than I thought they would, tasks that multiplied instead of diminishing, small disappointments that somehow accumulated into a heaviness I didn't know I was carrying until I stopped to notice it. My mind feels scattered now, pulled in directions I didn't choose. There are voices, real ones and imagined ones, asking things of me, needing things from me, questioning things I thought I understood. The morning asked me to be strong, to have answers, to keep moving forward. And I did. I showed up. I tried. But somewhere between the alarm that woke me and this very breath, I've begun to wonder if I have enough left to give. This is the quiet crisis of midday, not the dramatic breaking point, but the slow dimming of the light when you realize you're tired in a way that rest alone won't fix. You're tired in your soul, tired in the deepest places where you hold yourself together, tired in the way that makes you question whether you can actually do this, whatever this is for you today. I sit with that tiredness now, not fighting it, not pretending it isn't there, just naming it, acknowledging it, letting myself feel the weight of it without shame. Because this is real, this is honest, and in this middle hour, there is a strange grace in simply stopping and saying, I am tired, I am overwhelmed, I am searching for something I cannot find on my own. And then something happens in the pause. Something shifts when we actually stop. This midday moment is not random. It is not a break in the day, but a sacred interruption. It is an invitation to lift your eyes from the immediate, from the tasks and the demands and the relentless forward motion, and to remember that there is something beyond your own strength holding you. There is a space here, right in the middle of your day, where you can gather yourself again, where you can remember that you were never meant to carry this alone. I think of those ancient words that have echoed through centuries of tired hearts. Words written by someone who knew exactly what this middle moment feels like. I lift my eyes to the hills. Not in dismissal of the valley, not in denial of the struggle, but in a quiet act of remembering. There is help. There is a source of strength that doesn't depend on how tired I am, on how many mistakes I've made, on how inadequate I feel. The psalmist knew what it was like to be weighted down by the day, to feel small in the face of enormous pressure, to wonder where help would come from. And in that wondering, in that searching, he lifted his eyes upward, not because everything was suddenly fixed, not because the problems dissolved, but because he remembered something essential about himself, about his place in this world, about the nature of protection and care that surrounds him. Where does my help come from? The question itself is revolutionary in a world that tells me I should be able to fix everything myself, should be strong enough to never falter, should have answers and energy and peace all on my own. But the question opens a door to a different kind of knowing. Help comes from beyond my own resources. Help comes from a place bigger than my fatigue, deeper than my doubts, more constant than my fluctuating confidence. I let that truth settle into me now, here in this midday hour. My help does not depend on whether I've had enough coffee. It does not depend on whether I've made the right choices. It does not depend on whether I still have energy reserves or whether I've already given my best. My help comes from beyond all of that, from a source that is constant, that does not falter, that does not run out. There is something profoundly comforting in that realization. The day can be hard. The morning can leave me depleted. My own strength can fail, but there is another strength available to me. Not a strength I have to earn or deserve or prove myself worthy of. Simply a strength that is there, that has been there all along, that waits for the moment I finally stop and remember to look for it. The psalmist goes deeper still. He will not let your foot slip. There is such tenderness in that image. In the middle of difficulty, in the middle of uncertainty, there is a presence that is attentive to your steps, that notices when you're stumbling, that is aware of the precarious moments, the places where you might fall. And more than merely noticing, there is an active protection happening, a steadying hand that you may not see, but that is there nonetheless. I think of all the ways I have felt like I was slipping today, the moments when I doubted myself, when I felt like I was losing my footing, when the world seemed unstable and I seemed inadequate for navigating it. Those moments are real. The slipping happens. But I am not slipping alone. There is a presence with me that is more steady than the ground beneath my feet, more reliable than my own certainty. And that presence does not sleep. It does not take breaks. It does not run out of attention or care. He who watches over you will not slumber. While I have been pushing through the morning, burning my energy, second-guessing myself, worrying about 100 different things, there has been a vigilance over me that never faltered, a care that was present in every difficult moment, aware of every struggle, attentive to every need. What a strange comfort that is, to know that I am not invisible, that my struggles are not happening in isolation, observed by no one, mattering to nothing. I am watched, I am tended, I am held within a presence that is conscious of who I am and what I'm carrying. That presence did not go anywhere when the morning got hard. It did not abandon me when I felt overwhelmed. It has been there, constant and faithful, through every moment of this day. There is a deep peace in being watched over, not in a way that feels intrusive or controlling, but in a way that feels like being held by someone who truly loves you, someone who notices when you're struggling, someone who doesn't require you to be perfect or strong or together, someone who loves you in the middle of your mess and your doubt and your exhaustion. I allow myself to feel that peace now, the peace of knowing that I'm not alone in this, that my tiredness doesn't disqualify me from care, that my weakness doesn't mean I'm abandoned, that in the middle of this difficult day, I am still known, still valued, still tended by a presence that is bigger than my circumstances. The psalm speaks to something else too. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. There is an image here of shelter, of shade in the heat, of something positioned right beside you, protecting you from the intensity of what bears down on you. Not removing the sun, not eliminating the difficulty, but providing a shelter from its harshest effects. This midday hour, it can be a shelter too. This moment of pause, this prayer, this intentional stepping back from the relentless push of the day. It is like shade in the middle of overwhelming heat. It is a place to rest for a moment, to catch my breath, to remember who I am and whose I am. Not escape from the day, but a respite within it. A shelter that allows me to continue forward with renewed perspective and renewed strength. I think about what it means to have something positioned at my right hand, not distant, not theoretical, but present and close and attentive. That's the nature of the help I'm seeking in this moment. It's not help that will take away all the difficulty that remains in this day. It's not protection that will make the rest of the afternoon easy, but it is help that is close enough to touch, near enough to rely on, present enough to lean into. The sun will not strike me down. That might seem like an odd promise until you recognize what it means. The heat of the day, the pressure, the demands, the relentless forward momentum. It will not overwhelm me beyond what I can bear. I will not be destroyed by the very thing I fear will undo me. There is a protection here, not from difficulty, but from being ultimately undone by it. The hard things can't have the final word over me. By night, I don't need to worry about what the darkness might bring. There is a protection that extends through every hour, through the known and the unknown, through the challenges I can see and the ones I cannot yet anticipate. I am kept, continuously, actively, Not just in the bright morning when I'm strong, not just in the controlled middle hours, but through all the variations of this day and beyond. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going both now and forevermore. These are not generic promises. These are words spoken to a heart that knows what harm means. A heart that has experienced real struggle, real vulnerability, real need. The promise is not that life will be easy. The promise is that through every variation of experience, through every challenge and every transition, I am kept, I am watched over, I am held within a care that extends beyond any single day or difficulty. I let those words move through me slowly now. Kept, watched over, held. These are not just beautiful images. They are invitations to believe something different about myself in the middle of this hard day. To believe that I am cared for, that I matter, that my life is precious and worthy of protection, that I am not navigating this alone. As I sit with these truths, something begins to shift in me. The tiredness is still there. The challenges of the day are not suddenly erased, but something has changed in how I hold them. The weight feels slightly lighter when I know I'm not carrying it alone. The overwhelm feels slightly more manageable when I remember that I'm meant to lean on something bigger than myself. The scattered thoughts begin to find a center again, a place of grounding and peace. This is what happens when we actually pause, when we lift our eyes from the immediate and remember the larger truth, when we stop trying to be strong enough on our own and allow ourselves to be held by something greater. The exhaustion doesn't disappear, but it is met with an inner steadiness that gradually rises to meet it, not replacing the difficulty, but providing a counterweight to it. I can feel strength beginning to return now, not the frenetic, desperate strength of trying to push through, but a deeper strength, a quiet strength, the kind that comes from rest, from trust, from being held. It rises gradually, like water level imperceptibly increasing, until suddenly you realize you're floating instead of drowning. It rises from the recognition that I don't have to be okay all on my own. I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to be strong enough for everything. There is a strength available to me that doesn't depend on my personal reserves, a strength that comes from connection, from trust, from opening myself to a presence bigger than myself. And that strength is enough, more than enough. It is exactly what I need for the rest of this day. My breathing has slowed, my heart rate has settled. The scattered pieces of my mind are finding their way back toward coherence. The panic that was beneath the surface of the morning, the quiet terror that I wasn't enough, is loosening its grip. Because I'm enough, not alone, but enough. With the help that is available to me, I am enough for what this day requires. I think about returning now to the afternoon, about leaving this shelter and stepping back into the day that is still waiting. And instead of dread, I feel something different. I feel readiness. Not readiness that comes from personal strength alone, but readiness that comes from knowing I'm not doing this alone, from trusting that the help that has been here all along will continue to be available. The tasks that remain are still tasks. The difficulties that are waiting are still difficulties. But they are no longer the defining thing about my afternoon. They are no longer the thing I'm facing without support. They are challenges that I'm meeting. But I'm meeting them held within a care that is constant and real and dependable. I think about my steps going forward. The psalmist spoke about coming and going, about the movements we make through our days, the transitions, the forward motion. All of it is covered. All of it is watched. Not because I deserve it, not because I'm perfect or strong, but simply because that is the nature of the care that is available to me. It's not conditional. It's not withdrawn when I make mistakes or feel weak. It is simply there, constant and faithful. So I can move forward now, not with bravado, not with the illusion that I suddenly have unlimited energy or perfect clarity, but with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing I'm held, from knowing that help is available, from knowing that strength will rise in me again as the afternoon unfolds. Not my strength alone, but a strength that is nourished by something deeper, something that never fails. The midday light is beginning to shift slightly now. The afternoon is approaching, but I am different than I was an hour ago. The weight is still there, but I'm carrying it differently. The scattered thoughts are still there, but they have found a center. The exhaustion is still there, but it is being met and held by something steadier than my own resources. This is what this moment has given me. Not a removal of difficulty, but a recalibration. Not an elimination of challenge, but a reorientation. Not perfection, but peace. A peace that recognizes the realness of the struggle while trusting in a presence that is bigger than the struggle. I feel my shoulders soften. The tension that has been building all morning is beginning to release. Not disappearing entirely, but loosening its grip. There is space now for other things, for clarity, for hope, for the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're not alone. The truth of Psalm 121 is not that the day becomes easy. The truth is that we are never meant to face it alone. We are watched over. We are held. We are tended by a presence that is more constant than our own strength, more reliable than our own certainty, more compassionate than our own self-judgment. And that presence is available to us exactly in moments like this, in the middle of the day when we finally stop and remember to look for it. I lift my eyes now from the immediate struggle and I remember, help is here. It has been here all along. It will continue to be here. Not as a punishment or a condition I have to earn, but simply as the nature of the presence that surrounds me. I am held. I am watched. I am cared for. And in that remembering, something in my heart settles into place. The afternoon will unfold as it will. There will be moments that require courage. There will be interactions that test me. There will be decisions that I'm not entirely certain about, but I don't have to navigate any of it alone. The strength that carried me through the morning is available to me still. The help that I'm lifting my eyes to find is not theoretical or distant. It is present. It is real. It is attentive to my specific struggles and my specific needs. I think about how I will step back into the day, with gentleness toward myself, with awareness of my limits, and also with trust in what is available to me beyond those limits, with honesty about the remaining challenges, and also with faith in the presence that is with me through them. This is the balance that midday prayer can restore, not denying the difficulty, but refusing to be defined solely by it, not pretending I'm fine, but not despairing either. Simply holding both realities at once, the realness of the struggle and the reliability of the help. There is a steadiness growing in me now, the kind that comes not from having everything figured out, but from trusting that I'm in good hands, from knowing that my steps are being watched, that my coming and going are protected, that I'm not forgotten in the middle of this difficult day. I take another breath, a deeper one, a steadier one, and I feel the shift in myself, from scattered to centered, from desperate to grounded, from alone to held. These are the gifts of this midday pause. These are what become possible when we actually stop and remember what is true about ourselves and about the presence that surrounds us. The sun is still bright outside. The day is still demanding. My list of things to do is still waiting. But I am ready now in a way I wasn't before. Not because I've been magically transformed or because all my problems have been solved, but because I've been reminded of something essential. I've been reminded that I'm held within a care that is constant, that I'm tended by a presence that never falters, that I'm watched over by something that loves me with a love that is not dependent on my performance or my strength, that changes everything. Not the day itself, but my relationship to the day. Not my circumstances, but my ability to move through them with grace and trust and hope. I sit for one more moment in this shelter of the midday hour, breathing, grounded, held, slowly returning to myself, to this day that is still waiting, to the afternoon that is about to unfold. And I carry with me now the truth that I was held all along, that help is still available, that strength is rising in me again, that I don't have to do this alone. Lift your eyes. Help is here. Strength is rising in you again. You are held. You are watched. You are loved beyond measure. And you are enough. Rest here as long as you need. The afternoon is waiting, and you will meet it with the steady presence of something greater than yourself going with you through every remaining moment of this day. This is the promise of Psalm 121. This is the gift of the midday pause. You are kept.